I hope you guys are having a beautiful afternoon. Me, I'm a little under the weather today, but I got my soup and I got my good books and I got my comfortable couch. But I was thinking about something. I wanted to tell you about the day that I got divorced. It was a strange day, and my wife and I, at that time, decided that we were just going to take an Uber to the courthouse. Both very emotional because this divorce was called on by God. So it wasn't a situation where one was untrue to the other or, there was any infidelity. We weren't even arguing. So it was a hard day. We get into the first Uber to get there, and I noticed that the Uber driver had prayer beads and prayed the entire time that he was driving. He was nice, didn't have any issues with him, but I thought that that was odd, right? So we get there, plenty of time, and we wait. We finally get to see the judge, and the judge told us that we had filed the wrong paperwork, and so we needed to correct it. And me, how I was then, immediately was like, oh, we probably shouldn't be doing this. And, my partner at the time was like, no, this is something that we definitely need to get done because we've been called to do it. So we go downstairs and we get the paperwork, and we get the correct paperwork, and we sit in the lunchroom. And as I'm signing the document, I begin to cry. I begin to cry almost out of control. Not sure why, because we knew that the day was coming. But after that, we go back upstairs and we wait again. We get back up to the judge. She gives us our divorce. Everything is amicable. I don't know if you can hear that bird, but he is going off right now. Anyway, we get our next Uber. We go and have lunch, and then we get our next Uber. And the next Uber, as soon as we get in the car, it was a Nigerian woman. And she says, yellow, which is, I don't know if y'all know anything about Texas, but that's like customary and standard for hello. Anyway, it was one of the things that my partner at that time's father used to always say, yellow. And she began to cry. And she was like, that was from my father. It was a sign that we did the right thing. Anyway, it was kind of a confirmation coming through that we were on track and doing what we were supposed to be doing. We decide we're going to go to dinner, and we're going to dress up, and we're going to go to one of our most favorite restaurants. It's a beautiful steakhouse out here in Dallas. And we decided to go ahead and go out. So we come home, I get dressed, we get all cute, and we ride out to this beautiful steakhouse, and we have a wonderful dinner. One of the reasons why we picked it is because they had a beautiful piano bar where he plays like old school music. And I am a lover of all kind of music, and it's something that I really enjoy. So after we get done with dinner, we go over to the other side where there's the piano bar. Now, this is a very upscale, swanky steakhouse. And I immediately notice 3 men sitting in here that you don't really see at this type of place. I'm not being funny about it. I'm just telling you the truth, right? I live in Dallas. Telling you the truth. They seemed, it drew my attention. One of them was sitting at a booth, and 2 of them were sitting at the bar. And they did not appear to be together, but I felt like they were. Anyway, we walk in. It's kind of a low lighting. You got the piano bar going on, and I want to sit to where they can't see us. And my partner's like, no, let's go sit over here at the back. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, it gave one of the men direct eye contact with me. He had a direct view of me, and the other two were off to my right hand side. I did look into this man's eyes. I did notice his eyes were like gold. I had never seen this on a black man before. He was beautiful. He was beautiful. I tried to ignore him the entire time I was sitting there because I felt awkward. I felt strange. Anyway, I have a couple spritzers. This is when I was still kind of drinking alcohol a little bit. And I start to relax, right? Because it took the bite off the day, because the day was hard, right? Anyway, the piano man was like, hey, we're taking any kind of requests. And I was like, hey, one of my favorite songs is Sarah by Daryl Hall and John Oates. I think that's their name. Anyway, I say, play Sarah for me. And he's like, I don't know that one. And one of the men at the bar said, Sarah, smile. I thought that was odd. But I kept going. He played the song. It helped me to relax. I felt a little bit better. And then I see the two men at the bar leave. And then the man that was sitting at the booth by himself, the one with the gold eyes, he gets up and he comes right up to our table. And he looks me in my face and he says, you are a sight for sore eyes. And he touched my shoulder. I was stuck. I couldn't even speak. My partner at the time didn't speak. It was odd. Anyway, we moved past that, and later she gets angry. She's like, I should have said something. I'm like, it's fine. I don't know why he touched me, but it's fine. You know what I mean? It's not like he tried to come up and ask me for my number. Anyway, she goes home. I come home. I take my shower. I get in my bed. I probably wake up around 2 o'clock in the morning to excruciating pain. I feel like something hot is being entered into my spine from the top of my head down to the bottom of my spine. I don't know what that was, but I did want to share that with you. I feel like other people may have gone through this. Be careful letting random people look you in your eye and touch you. Like, what are you touching people for? There's a lot going on out there that I was very unaware of. And I started hearing new terms like warlock and stuff like that I didn't really have any knowledge of. I don't know what that situation was about now. Since then, I feel a lot better. And I know that whatever that was remedied. But just be mindful that shit like this is going on out there, and everything that glitters ain't gold. Anyway, remember, take care of yourself, stay prayed up, bless up, and remember, we're witnessing God's glory.